The mist here does not simply rise, it lingers. It clings to the cobblestones like a memory that refuses to fade. It wraps itself around the gas lamps, softening the iron and the stone, until the entire city feels less like a place of brick and mortar and more like a dream, hovering just above the waking world. Listen. The city is breathing. It is a slow, heavy breath, the rhythm of an old man who has seen too much history to be startled by the dawn. There was a time when Europe breathed in waltz rhythm, and the heart of that rhythm beat here. Watch the light touch the Ringstrasse. These buildings were not merely built, they were sculpted to intimidate time itself. Granite, marble, gold leaf, the parliament, the opera, the palace. They stand like giants in formal wear, lined up for a photograph that will never be taken. They were designed to last for 1,000 years, to tell the future that we were here and we were significant. But look closer at the stone. It is cold. It is impersonal. It shelters a society that is obsessed with the facade. The morning tram glides by, electric sparks snapping against the wire, carrying men in tailored coats and women in long, sweeping skirts. Observe their posture. The spine is rigid, the chin is lifted. There is a profound confidence in their stride. It is the confidence of people who believe the map of the world is finished, that the borders are drawn in permanent ink. They walk past the statues of generals and emperors, never suspecting that the bronze figures are watching them with pity. They do not see the cracks in the pavement. They see only the horizon, and they believe it belongs to them. But the true soul of Vienna is not in the street, it is inside. Step out of the chill wind, push through the heavy wooden doors, into the warmth, into the haze. The café. This is not a room, it is a sanctuary. It is a secular cathedral where time is suspended. The air is thick, layered with the blue-gray smoke of Turkish tobacco and the rich, dark aroma of roasted coffee. Here, a single cup of mélange buys you the right to sit for hours, to think, to exist. Listen to the sound of this place, the polite clatter of silver spoons against thin porcelain, the rustle of newspapers mounted on wooden frames, the Neue Freie Presse. The headlines speak of diplomacy, of theatre premieres, of small scandals in the Balkans. At the marble tables, worlds collide. In one corner, a revolutionary with wild hair plots the end of the monarchy, whispering furiously. 2 tables away, a young artist sketches a woman's hands, trying to capture a beauty that frightens him. A psychoanalyst sits in silence, watching them both, dissecting their souls before his coffee goes cold. Vienna was not just a city. It was a state of mind. It was a laboratory of the apocalypse. Everything that would shape the 20th century, the horror and the beauty, the genius and the madness, was sitting at these tables, nodding politely to one another. They debate, they argue, they dream, believing that if you can find the right words, the right theory, you can tame the chaos of the world. How naive we were, how beautifully naive. Outside, the day marches on, literally. Do you hear the drums, faint but constant? The army, the emperor's own. Look at them. tunics of calming blue, buttons that catch the sun, shakos adorned with feathers. They march with a precision that is almost musical. Left, right, left, right. A salute here is not just a military gesture, it is a piece of architecture. It holds the sky up. Everything had its place, everything had its rhythm. Even power moved politely. The bureaucracy of the empire was a machine of paper and ink, a stamp for every permission, a title for every clerk. We believed that if we categorized everything, if we filed every moment into its proper folder, nothing bad could ever happen. Order was our religion. We polished the brass on the sinking ship until it shone like gold. And when the sun begins to lower, the music changes. The day belongs to the clerks, but the night belongs to the waltz. Johann Strauss, the sound of silk rustling against the floor, the chandelier light refracting through crystal, turning the ballroom into a kaleidoscope of diamonds. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The rotation is hypnotic. Round and round they go, officers and countesses, bankers and poets. The waltz is not just a dance, it is a centrifugal force. It spins you so fast that the world outside the ballroom blurs into nothingness. Poverty, nationalism, hunger, they are just smudges of color when you spin this fast. As long as the music plays, the circle remains unbroken. Grace above all else. If we are to fall, we shall fall dancing. But eventually, the orchestra must rest, and in that pause, the silence is deafening. The sun dips below the spires of St. Stephen's Cathedral. The shadows stretch out, long and distorted, grasping at the heels of the passers-by. The empire was vast, it was elegant, but it was tired. You can feel it in the air at dusk, a heavy, sweet melancholy. It is the feeling of an old man sitting in a garden, watching the leaves turn brown, knowing he will not see them turn green again. Its greatness lived more in memory than in certainty. It held together not by force, but by habit, by the sheer stubborn refusal to admit that the century had changed. The gas lamps flicker to life one by one, puddles of yellow light on the grey stone. The elderly men on the park benches fold their newspapers. They look up at the darkening sky. They feel a chill that has nothing to do with the weather. There is a fragility here, like a dried flower pressed between the pages of a heavy book. It is perfectly preserved, beautiful to look at, but if you touch it, if you breathe on it too hard, it will crumble to dust. We didn't know it was the twilight. We thought it was just another evening. We thought the music would play forever. But looking back from the distance of years, we can see the darkness waiting in the alleyways. We can see that the statues were not watching us with pride. They were mourning us. The gold turns to copper. The copper turns to ash. The Danube flows on, black and silent, carrying the secrets of 1,000,000 lives toward the sea. The lights of the palace shimmer on the water, a mirage of stability. This was Vienna, before the storm, before the silence. This was Vienna, when it was the heart of the world.